I know that many of you are tracking that we are about to reach our 1-year mark here in the administration.
So we have some interesting news about the fourth stimulus payments that everyone has to know. The IRS is actually very behind on sending out the next round of stimulus checks. This means many Americans and extra payments are going to be delayed. I know many of you are wondering what the status of the fourth stimulus checks are, and in this video, don't worry, because I'll be going over the most important stimulus check information, SSI information, Social Security information, and SSDI, RRB, and the VA benefits information. The whole goal of this channel is to provide you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information. I want to do my very best in providing you folks with this news. So the American Rescue Plan has also significantly altered the structure of the child tax credit, and it expanded the responsibilities of the IRS to send monthly payments to millions of families, folks. And everybody, these additional responsibilities have stretched the capacity of the IRS, which further exacerbate issues already being faced by the agency. The IRS will now begin processing tax returns on January 24th, but because of the backlog from 2021, many could face delays in receiving this refund. And I think it's actually ridiculous how the IRS is still behind. This is now causing thousands of people to have to wait even longer to receive the refund check. And we already know that many people need this stimulus money. So the IRS will begin processing tax returns on January the 24th. And within the IRS sits the Office of the National Taxpayer Advocates. It supports the public by ensuring the agency carries out its mandates in a fair and effective way. In the office's annual report that was submitted to Congress, they detailed the efforts of the IRS in 2021. They said it was the most challenging year for taxpayers and tax professionals that anyone has ever experienced. Now last year, because of additional tax credits and benefits that were able to be claimed by more people, around 77% of people were able to receive these refunds. That's a good note. The report also noted that the delays in processing for tens of millions of taxpayers translated directly into refund delays. Now folks, these refunds and delays have a disproportionate impact on low-income taxpayers, many of whom were entitled to larger returns. All last year, folks. And I know that many of you are upset at the delay of sending out refund checks. Right now can be a very difficult time, and many people should receive the stimulus checks that everyone is asking for. Don't you guys agree? So the IRS has also reported that as of December, the backlog has reached around 6 million people with unprocessed original individual tax returns. That's a really big number. Now there is some good news for some people, especially if you live in the state of California. The Golden State stimulus checks were sent out towards the end of 2021, all due to a budget surplus, with the state of California then giving this out to those who needed the financial aid the most, and it appears that something similar could happen in the following months. Gavin Newsom laid out his budget proposal, and it is projected that there will be a mammoth $45 billion budget surplus this year. This means stimulus checks are being sent out to certain Californians. It is not yet clear that there will be a stimulus check to sent out in a similar manner like last year's California's Golden State stimulus program. It is not yet clear that there will be a stimulus check like last year's Golden State stimulus payments. But everybody, Gavin Newsom already revealed that he is in discussions with the legislature about a way of providing a helping hand to Californians. Meanwhile, there are still some Californians who are waiting for the final Golden State stimulus check payment to arrive. So, if you're missing stimulus checks, don't worry. President Biden and the Democrats are still working on this.
Okay. All right. Did this a little bit better this time? Okay. Just have a couple of items for all of you at the top. I have a bit of a hard out at 1/4 or 10 of, so we'll get around to as many people as possible. Just wanted to note a couple of the points of progress that have been made that you'll hear the president talk more about and members of our administration also talk more about over the coming days. And you know how we love charts around here? So we have some charts that lay out a pretty stark contrast between where we started and where we are now. So just to highlight a couple of pieces. During the president's first year, we saw the most dramatic change in our economy of anywhere in the world. It was the biggest year of job growth in American history, and it was the direct result of actions taken by President Biden and Democrats in Congress, including the American Rescue Plan. The vaccination effort, it helped fund, and now the bipartisan infrastructure law. And you can see the economic data there quite starkly. I mean, look at the initial unemployment claims. They're on average, they were at 812,000 a year ago. They're now at 210,000. The unemployment rate and obviously job creation the year before the president took office. And
the Democratic Party has had control of Washington for exactly 364 days. Tomorrow will mark exactly 1 year since President Biden was inaugurated on the West Front and promised to unite our people, lower the temperature, and bring America together. But today, the President and his party will try to use fear and panic to smash the Senate, silence millions of Americans, and seize control of our democracy. Now, there's no shortage of real crises Democrats might consider tackling. The worst inflation in 40 years, a seemingly endless pandemic, soaring homicides, a border crisis, and Russia flirting with war in Europe. But the administration and this Senate majority are focused on none of that. Instead, they've been consumed by a fake panic over election laws that seems to exist only in their own imaginations. So let's put a few basic facts on the table. Fewer than 0.5% of American adults believe that election law is our country's most important problem. When polls ask people what new federal election laws they want, the most popular response is none of the above. Actually, more Americans believe current voting laws are too lax than believe they are too restrictive. So let that sink in. You could have taken in hundreds of hours of left-wing rhetoric and media coverage over the past year and had no inkling of this basic fact. Significantly more Americans believe current voting laws are too loose and insecure than believe are too restrictive. Professional liberals have spent 3 straight years talking down our democracy, except a short period after they liked an election result and questioning elections was, at least briefly, off limits. But the American people are not buying that. Democrats have spent years stoking fear and panic over voting laws, and the American people simply do not buy it. But while Washington Democrats' fake panic has failed to persuade the country, it could still deal permanent damage.